Welcome back to Mortgage Lending for Entrepreneurs. I'm Joel Farrell, and I am with a guest today here in Orlando, Florida, Rene Gonzalez. And it's not French.
No.
Okay. But we're going to be talking about your entrepreneurship journey, a little bit of real estate, a little bit of income streams, a little bit of school.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to digging in with you today.
Nice.
So real estate, you own some properties, but give us, our audience, a little bit of a background of what you do. What are you into?
Well, I grew up poor, living in rundown trailer parks, and always wanted to live in a house. So when I went in the military, I always had a goal. It was like, hey, when I get out, I'm going to buy a house. So I saved up like $20,000-$30,000 through my deployments. And when I was getting out, my cousin's like, hey, you can buy this townhome next to mine. It's a pre-foreclosure. It's really a dump, but you can fix it up. So I put money down on that, bought it as I was getting out of the military. And that was my first journey into like real estate. From there, I got deployed. I was working diplomatic security in Baghdad, Iraq. So I had a buddy that was a real estate agent, and he's like, "Hey, I found some deals. Hey, you're making good money. Do you want to buy one?" And I was like, "Okay." I bought a second and a third, and then I just kind of fell into it. I first had property managers at first because I was in Iraq, and I kept feeling like, man, I don't think they're doing a good job. I feel like I can do this, even though I'm on the other side of the world. And then at some point, I just decided to take over property management, and then I just went all in. That's kind of like my calling. I love DIY property management. And then that stemmed my venture into school and why I made landlord school. And so that's just kind of the gist of how I got into real estate.
Okay, so in the military and then a civilian job?
Yeah, I
And
was
then
active
being deployed?
duty. Yeah, I was active duty military police, got deployed 4 times. Then I got out and I did diplomatic security in Iraq as a civilian private security contractor. And then I did that for like 6 years or so. That's where I got my money to be able to afford the investments.
So the first house, you gave us a little bit of background of
Yeah,
you grew up dirt poor.
yeah.
And so I guess that sounds like that was part of the fueling. So getting there, like when did you decide that you wanted to buy a house? Like what age was that?
I used to be ashamed of living in trailers, so I'd say it took, root when I was really young because kids would be like, "Hey, can we come over and pick you up? You can spend the night or the weekend." The answer was always no. I'd be calling on a landline, regular phone, and I'd be like, "Oh no, my mom won't let me." They're like, "No, come on, ask." And I would just lie to everybody, say, "Nope, you can't. My mom won't let me." It's because I didn't want them to come drive into the trailer park and actually see where we lived. At one point, we lived in a 20-foot camper. My mom was a single mom, waitress, struggling all the time. So like, I was a car rider too because I didn't want people from the bus to see them drop me off in front of the trailer park and stuff like that. So like, it was a shame thing, I guess. And I didn't realize this, but as I got older, all the kids that lived in the houses, they could have been renting them and stuff. I always thought they were all rich or something. There was something wrong with my situation that I was ashamed of. So that's where it probably all started.
So how old were you when you bought the first house?
I was like 25.
Okay,
Yeah, I think so.
25.
Yeah.
And then that first one, how long until you acquired the next one?
That first one I took over, and my brother moved in, and he was fixing it up while I was working in Iraq. And I want to say it took like a year or maybe 6 months because it was like a live-in flip. My brother was doing the work, and I was paying him and buying the materials and giving him gift cards to Chick-fil-A, and he was happy. So the next one, probably like 6 months, I bought the next one, and it was fully, ready to go. So once the agent helped me buy it, which was a friend. He's the only like multi-millionaire person I ever knew. Like, and we knew him. Like when we went to his house, he had a Ferrari and stuff. So it was kind of cool, and he was kind of helping me. Like I would have never known anything about this whole world if it wasn't for him. So he placed the tenant and then started billing me from Iraq, and I would just pay him. And then he's like, "Hey, what about this other one?" And he's like, "You got some money to put down?" I was like, "Yeah, I got like 25." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, let's get this other one. It's under market. It's this. Here's what the rent can be and everything. So he was just like coming to get me. And it was a time when the market was really bad. So he was going out making stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
And he was starting with people he knew then that trusted him.
And was that like 2013? What time?
I got out at 2011. So it was definitely around 11, 12, 13,
Okay.
14.
Okay. So in that time, the first one you bought with a primary residence loan, VA loan.
They wouldn't let me. I was still active duty, so they made me buy a second residence because I was stationed in Alabama, and I wanted to buy it with the VA loan. They wouldn't let me.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one they wouldn't let me. I was active duty. I was approaching the end of my enlistment for 6 years. I think I was almost at the 12-month until I was getting out when I was buying it. And they're like, "Oh wow, you need to hurry up and close now. You got to write a letter, say what's happening and stuff. And we're not gonna be able to let you be a primary because you won't have income when you get out." So there was like, I just did whatever they told me and overcame stuff,
Okay.
and we got it.
And so did they make you put 20% down?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But it was only $58,000. It was in bad shape. Some guy was losing it. He owned a bunch of restaurants in the local area in Tampa, and he was going under, so it was bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then fast forward the clock. Same scenario comes up. You buy the next one as a rental property
Yeah.
with 20% down.
Yeah, probably more. I actually try to put more down, whatever I had saved, because my goal was to pay these things off into cash flow. So that's why I don't consider myself a real estate investor. I do unorthodox things, and I've had the rentals for over 10 years. I've held them the whole time, self-managed them, majority of all of it. And I just take extra cash flow and pay it back into the principal. And my net worth has gone beyond a million, all closer to like 2 million, because all I'm doing is just paying down the debt, and the assets are going up and up. I have also an auxiliary dwelling unit that I built, owner builder, and my primary residence I bought in an area in Lake Nona here in Orlando that just went crazy. I can't believe I live in a house that's worth more than $1 million when I bought it for 400. And it's just like, whoa! Real estate's a slow, gradual thing, and then one day you're like, whoa! If you're like adding up the numbers and stuff, how the heck on paper it's like I'm wealthy, but I don't feel that way at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you're building that massive equity that's not accessible.
Yeah.
With cash unless you use a loan
Yeah.
to access it. So I know in my journey, I bought a couple of 4 families in 2017, a commercial building, a few more things, and it wasn't until 2020 and 2021 when rates went down to all-time lows, 3 and 2 point whatever, that I started seeing the fruits of the labor. You start seeing the appraisal values come in. It's like, oh, that equity is there. It's building. It's like that's when the light went off for me personally.
Yeah.
In that time frame. So the investment journey, right? You mentioned this realtor was helping you, figure these out and connect the dots and finding deals. How did you connect to that person in the first place?
My brother and I did construction kind of growing up, and I think he started working for this guy. We call him C Money. His name's Charles, and he just has money. So he was a very stern, strict, boss, general contractor. He would find houses that were burnt down. He'd tear them all down and build new ones. He'd find vacant lots and he'd build new ones. The guy really knows his stuff. So my brother was hanging out with this guy, working with him, and then kind of getting some responsibility, moving up, and then started hanging out with him. There's some kind of like country club in Tampa that everybody went to. The Bull, I think they referred to it as. There's like a bull you can ride and dance and all that stuff. Kenny, he was kind of country. My brother's kind of country. So they hit it off. And then I became a friend through my brother. Indirect,
So that first deal.
Oh, so
Right.
that's...
How does that come up?
Oh, the first one, I just got referred to it from my cousin. My cousin's like, hey, the one next door is all beat up. Why don't you buy that one? I just bought mine and I got a deal. So it was just like word of mouth. I wasn't trying to get anything, but I guess maybe it was something like I recognized the opportunity when it presented itself, and I took action because I had some money. Maybe that was the lesson there.
Is there any conversations with C Money or philosophies in being around him that you think is worthwhile to dig into?
No, he's actually an ornery man. Like, he's very, very rough and mean, sarcastic, but he's great for a boss when you have people trying to slack and stuff, and he tells people what to do. When you go out to eat with him, he's kind of mean to the waitress. He expects exact service a certain way, and he will call out stuff. He gets free meals all the time because he'll complain. So we come from different worlds, but I respect him, and he's got lots of value when it comes to his niche.